music, let's go ahead and bring up Yanick, the lady in green. How beautiful is she? Here you go.
Oh. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I am so excited to be here with all of you. The funny thing, I'm from Canada, and this is my first Canadian conference. I launched, my first conference was a virtual one for 100,000 people that I didn't see. It was a black, I didn't know until the day of, but I did it. And then Paris, so I became an international speaker first. Everything went topsy-turvy. You know, you plan your life, but it's not always. I think the universe had a different route for me. I'm still doing what I want to do. Okay, so
And this is the one on the right.
the one on the right.
That's all we're now.
Okay. So, I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name is Yanick Séïde. I live in Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada by the ocean. I'm originally from Montreal. I was born and raised in Montreal. My parents are Haitian. And I've had quite a few paradigm shifts. I was going to be a doctor, changed my mind. I went with the Navy, and like Lieutenant Hoover, I was a communication specialist like her. And I realized it was not my life. Went back to university and I studied languages. So I was a language instructor, translator, and a conference interpreter, the one speaking in the booth. As they speak, I did that for a while, quite the rush. And then I went in government, was a teacher, then many different careers. I ended up in HR, human resources, and I managed the employment equity, diversity, and inclusion portfolio for 20 years, as well as the official language portfolio, besides doing labor relations and staffing and HR planning. Went back into corporate learning, and then I ended my career a few years earlier than I planned as the manager of language training for the Royal Canadian Navy. So during the pandemic, we had lots of time to think about, you know, especially during the lockdown. And that's when I realized this is not aligned with me. So, make a long story short, I decided to leave. Actually, at coffee break, I had a virtual appointment with my doctor, regular appointment, and I was asked, "So how are you doing?" I said, you know, I think I could take the last few weeks of February off, the rest of the month off. Okay. And as the time to go back to work crept in, got closer, I could feel all this angst and feeling sick. And I thought, well, I'll take another month. I'll get it. I did that for 3 months, and I said, this is gonna stop. So I decided to not go back, but before I took the first step to take some time off, I had tidied up everything was ready in case I got hit by a bus, you know, everything was in order. So that I was at peace, because like the soldiers, I didn't want to leave my soldiers behind. And I forgot to tell you, I guess I was in the Navy. So I had that mindset, I cannot leave the troop hanging there, so I made sure everything was tidy before I left. So I started my company, so that's me. And I'm the founder and CEO of Chrysalis Women Empowerment, empowering women to be the women they're destined to be. Okay, the one on the right?
It's the one on the, should be the one on the right. Oh, something happened, sir. Okay, now try. Okay. One on the right.
Okay.
The one
All
that's
right.
lower now.
So the right button
Yes,
still?
yes.
All right, so I'll give you a brief overview of Women Entrepreneur. First of all, I have a question for you. How many of you knew exactly what it would be to be an entrepreneur? Yeah, I was there too. I thought it'd be okay. You know, I knew my craft, I took out my certification, but nothing prepared me for being an entrepreneur. You know, hit a brick wall. All right, so I'll give you an overview of what it is to be a woman entrepreneur, navigating the challenges, and the importance of discussing challenges faced by women entrepreneurs to foster inclusivity and support in the environment. pressing the wrong button.
The one that's all worn
Oh, okay, I'm pressing the wrong one. Okay, the rise of women entrepreneur. In its female entrepreneurship resource point, the World Bank says that between 8 million and 10 million of small and medium-sized enterprises across the developing world have at least one female owner. All right? Now, from 2019 to 2023, women-owned business growth outpaced the rate of the men's growth. Wow. So by 94.3% for the number of firms that grew the women, and then 252.8% when it comes to employment, and then 82% for revenue. That's monumental. And then during the pandemic, women-owned business added 1.4 million jobs and 579.6 billion in revenue to the economy. How about that?
That's amazing.
Globally, I wanted to go globally. I could have gone Canada or the US or North America, but I decided to go globally to see because the story seems to be the same. I could go on and on and on with stats, but I just wanted an overview. So globally, 1 in 3 businesses are owned by women according to the World Bank. And believe that, women-owned business count only for 1% of the market share. And then, beautiful, Botswana leads, followed by Uganda and Ghana as the countries with the most women business owned globally. Did you know that?
No, that's cool.
Isn't that wonderful? So, motivation for a women entrepreneur, and throughout the conference, we talked about it. The desire for independence. Women, we wear so many hats, and we cannot always function in the constraint of the corporate world, especially when we have children. We know sometimes you see it as a liability, you know, if you have a family in the corporate world. So that's one of the desires. The pursuit of passion and purpose. Women, we want to leave a legacy. We want to make a better world. This is who we are. That's how we're wired. So entrepreneurship is one great vehicle to get there, to be our true self. The dresser, we talked about, a few people yesterday talked about addressing the gaps in the market. Women were problem solvers. We see a problem, we don't just look at it, we find a solution. We get things done.
Yeah.
Now, the challenges. Funding disparities. I was quite naive, so I kind of self-funded myself until I ran out of money, and I realized, okay, but I didn't know how to go about that. So the challenge is to access the venture capital, because a lot of women don't know how or where to get the information. And the strategies to overcome funding challenges are quite important, and this is what changed the game for me. For example, networking, we talked about networking. It's not just to grow your business, it's also to support you in your business. Somebody will show you the road. Seeking mentorship, but this is what happened to me. Through networking, I ran into people who told me, did you know there is this grant or that grant? So there was many places I could go. Some I qualified, some I did not qualify, but at least I knew the source. I wouldn't have known about that. It was not readily accessible. It seems like you need to know somebody who knew it to tell you. It's like, it's there, but it's hidden. And gender bias and stereotype. We talked about that before. How it can impact on opportunities. We saw that in corporate world and also in business. If it's time to choose a business, sometimes if it's a woman-owned business, it might not be sought after as much as a male. And also in the decision making, I've had some colleagues when it came to funding, they were asked questions that male counterparts were not asked when it came to get capitals. Okay. Okay, so how startup can impact on opportunities and decision making. I already said that. Now, We talked about work-life balance also several times in the conference. Balancing business responsibility with family and personal life, that's one of the reasons women become entrepreneur, but once we're there, it's not as easy as we thought it would be. When we're an entrepreneur, especially when you're a solopreneur, you have so many hats, but yet you still try to juggle your family responsibility, be there for your significant other, and it's quite exhausting. And if you don't pay attention, there's a rate of burnout. You know, you don't realize that. You say, okay, I left corporate world, it's going to be perfect. No, you have to navigate that. So those are the challenges, because no offense to the male, I love my husband, but when, and the gentleman here, but you don't have to worry so much as you do. Okay, the dentist appointment and the practice and the dropping up the kids and picking up the kids, it is part of the many balls we juggle. Yes, the male can help, but the lion's share, to this day, the lion's share of the household responsibility, chores and so on, still fall on the women.
Yeah.
Some men, there is improvement from the time we were kids and our parents, but there's still a lot of work to be done there. So it's still on the woman's shoulder. That doesn't go away. Also overcoming society expectation and judgment. Well, your mother, there are still in society some stereotype that people are not shaking. It's a woman, there's an expectation they want from us. But as an entrepreneur, this is not necessarily where we're at. This is a different world. Unfortunately, it's not seen that way. The world doesn't see that when they see a woman entrepreneur. They see the woman first. Now, networking, importance of networking for business growth. It's not necessarily about getting new clients. For me, so far, it's helping with clients, but also how to conduct and how to run my business. I've run into people who've been in the business and give me some tips, and also beware of through networking. Challenges women face in male-dominating networking environment. From the dawn of times, it's always been the men's group, men's club, and guys seems to network more than women because women are so busy doing what they do. The networking is not necessarily what comes forefront. However, creating or fostering, supporting women-centric networks really helps, and I can speak to that because I've had the experience. Where I live, we have a Center for Women in Business, and I don't know what happens in other provinces or in the States or anywhere else, but you should try to find if there is anything like that, because they have weekly meetings, we have networking, or we have a little master class. They have events that you can go to, and then you also network in a broader audience, as well as having networking events, specifically just to network. Another source, and it's through networking that I found out there are some networking organizations that offer, put up some events, just like conferences, and that's all you do. And it's focused. Some of them are not focused to women, but we have different needs. So I know when I go to the Center for Women in Business, we can bring our angle as a woman, our angst, more so. This is why we can address it more. But I do have male mentors as well. But when it comes to a particular need, it's nice to be in an environment where being a woman is understood to the fullest. Access to education and resources. The disparity in access to education and business resources, I kind of touched on it, it was for finances, but find out there are courses or organizations that give training or resources for business and enterprises, not just for women, but because for some reason it doesn't get filtered to the feminine world as easily as the male. I found out, I'm speaking again from experience, is through a male colleague that I found out about certain things. So what I know, I share. Pay it forward. I found, I said, did you know that? So I'm sending links here and there to help other women because it's almost a mystery. When I found out, I always wasn't, oh, how come did I know about that? There's no advertisement on the radio or the TV. So you really need to do the research. Initiative and organization, okay, I already talked about that, the initiatives through the different organizations. And again, we talk about the role of mentorship. This is a theme that came about throughout the conference. We cannot do it all alone. People need people. So seek a mentor. I have a couple of mentors because they each have their expertise, and I'm a mentor as well. So, women-owned business, to conclusion, outpace the men's in growth. Yay! Firms, employment, and revenue, because a lot of women don't realize how well we're doing. That's his why. And forge an inclusive, supportive business environment for women, that we all can do this, you know, by collaborating and also sharing information. And I want to leave you with that. No holding back. Be bold and pursue your dreams. But before I leave, I'd like to bring Professor Dr. Perrin, who has been a mentor of mine and encouraged me. We were talking about different that in our life and things we had in common, and we co-wrote this book, The Healing Blueprint. So I'll pass the microphone to Dr. Perrin.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to work with Yanick. Seriously, to make this book a very success, and this book has become the best-selling author in Amazon. And honestly, this book has come up so nicely that we never realized how we started it. We started it last year in the Cambridge University when we were just thinking, we were not even sure what we wanted to do. And at that time, London Organization of Skill Development was not doing any publishing at all. But then when I came across and I just told them, okay, you know what, why don't we do something? I just gave an idea to my chairman and he said, how can we do that? It might be very difficult because we are an organization, an institution where we do a lot of work and help the people exactly like this on a platform where the people can get a platform at 3 universities, Oxford, Harvard, and Cambridge University. And this book was not in that thing that we are going to do, but some reason, honestly telling you, this book has given us a lot of help, and London Organization have become a publishing house with this book, with this way.
It's a labor of love because we were sharing each other's story. We were sharing each other's stories, our life, and what we went through physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And well, you know, he talked. I said, let's write a book. I said, I don't know about that. She said, let's go, and we did. So this is how it came to fruition.
So this book has become our co-author, and in this book you can unlock the secrets to physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's worth reading. You can, if anybody is interested, me and Yanick have decided we can give you this free book on e-book. So please connect with Yanick or me, and we can give you this book completely free of charge. You can go on Amazon and you can buy it as well, and it's a $30. $29, yeah? And English is of £20. So if you want a free book, come and see us, we can give you that. This is one of my other books. This is just for my book. This is not published with London Organization of Skill Development, but this is my 54. I remember I told you about my journey yesterday that I want to talk about, but hold on, I've forgotten because the screen went off last night. This is 540 inspiring, a powerful quote of my personal experience journey. It's worth reading it. If anybody wants this book, I can give you completely free. It's on Amazon. It's not the bestseller at the moment. I'll tell you the truth. It's not the best. It's a really nice book. It's just been launched. Both of the books have been launched at the Oxford University.
Yes, it was in March 26th. So our time is up. Thank you.